Hi everyone, and welcome back to Pepple's Potager. So today I wanted to talk about the different types of tomatoes and pruning them. And as you know, I've been growing Cherokee purple tomatoes, and Cherokee purples are indeterminate type tomatoes. And indeterminate type tomatoes are tomatoes that will grow all the way to the end of the season till they are killed by frost, disease, or pests. And when you're growing indeterminate tomatoes, you often have to do a lot of pruning to keep them under control. And as you can see here, I've done a lot of pruning on these Cherokee purples here. And right there you can see a spot where I pruned. That's where one of the suckers came out. And that's one of the things you want to do when you're growing these, especially when you're growing them 1 per square foot, is to prune all the suckers that are coming off the plants. And the indeterminate types are vining tomatoes, so they will just keep growing out of control unless you do prune them. So when you're pruning and you're growing 1 per square foot, you want to keep your plants to 1 stem, just like I have here. And then whenever you see a sucker pop out of the elbow of one of the plants, like right here, you just snip it off, just like that. And that's how I keep my Cherokee purples under control. I keep them all to 1 stem until they get all the way to the top of the trellis, and then I'll top them off once they get all the way to the top of the trellis. Also, when you're growing tomatoes like I grow them here, you also want to prune the bottom 1 to 2 feet off your tomato plants. And the main reason for that is to keep the soil from splashing onto the leaves and causing fungal diseases or bacteria diseases. And you can see right here that I've pruned at least 1 to 2 feet off the bottom of almost all my plants. And right now you can see there is no sign of disease. And we did have a few thunderstorms here the past couple days, which splashed a lot of water up onto the leaves because it rained so hard. And as you can see, there's not a lot of debris or dirt on the leaves, so you can tell that pruning the first 1 to 2 feet of the plant does help keep a lot of that soil off of the leaves. And now I'm going to talk about determinate tomatoes. And I usually don't grow determinate tomatoes. I haven't grown them for a while. But unlike the indeterminate tomatoes, they do not grow all the way to the end of the season. They usually grow to a predetermined height. They set all their fruit, and they ripen within 1 to 2 weeks of when they're supposed to ripen, and then the plants will usually die off. Sometimes you might get a second crop off of them, sometimes you don't, but they usually grow to about 3 to 4 feet tall before they set all their fruit. Generally you don't prune those because pruning them will cut down the production of determinate type tomatoes. And you can see the mortgage lifters here are doing very, very well. That nice cluster of tomatoes there. And the third type of tomato is called a semi-determinate tomato. And semi-determinates are basically indeterminate plants, but they have a slower growth and they don't grow quite as long or out of control. They're shorter in stature than regular indeterminate tomato plants. And I've actually never grown a semi-determinate plant, so I really can't tell you how to grow those other than the fact that you would treat them much like an indeterminate type tomato, except they grow much slower and much shorter in stature than an indeterminate type tomato. And that's all I have for you right now. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And thanks for watching.